Maps in books, yay or nay?
That's all I get, yay or nay?
Yay or nay? You can elaborate
Ah, okay.
if you want.
So the answer is yay, but it's really much more important for epic fantasy where you're like
Yeah,
speculative fiction where you're making up a world
yeah,
makes more sense to have a map in it
yeah.
because I can't go to Google Maps and look up, you know, I can't look up whatever I can't look up George R. R. Martin's world in Google Maps. So
They
like
need that. They should have that. I'm just
someone
saying,
probably does. Like if I'm being honest, some fan site already has a Google
probably.
Mapsable version of it. But um I would, but it's funny though, because even in my books, which take place in New Haven, Connecticut, I have been tempted, and for like one of my new books, I was extra tempted to put a map of New Haven in the beginning of the book, kind of marking out some of the territories that are relevant to the story to give people more flavor. But the problem also is you can't just use map like yeah, they have to be commercially available. You either have to own the rights to them or pay for the rights to them, and it's a whole mess. Where if it's a fantasy world, you can have the map drawn and own the rights to doing that. So it's
Yeah.
kind of less of a thing.
Okay, I did not know that. That to put a map of a real place in your book, you actually have to buy the rights
Wow.
or something like that. I just thought because it's the world, it's our world that we live in, it's free use. But I did not know that.
Oh, only if I draw it. That's the thing is like
Ah,
someone made the map. So
yeah,
like I can't put a Google map of it because Google
Yeah.
owns that. If
Yeah.
I if
mhm,
I pull a map that was like if I scan a printed map, I don't own the rights to the print whoever made the printed map, that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
But what
Okay.
is there like a time thing on like because like how what's it called? Public domain works.
Public domain. Yeah, and I have so that's the trick of it also is uh, the map that I was tempted to put into one of my books is like an old-timey public
Mm,
domain map. But then I don't know if that's actually public domain or if it's like the rights to use that version
Yeah.
of the map is by whatever historical
Yeah.
society published it
That's
online.
true.
It's like it's one of those things where a lot of times, especially for indie authors, because we're doing all of this stuff ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a legal department to ask whether or not this is a good idea.
mhm.
If it's legally questionable, people usually just say, just don't do it.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I get that. So your answer was a yes, provided that it doesn't infringe any copyright laws.
Well, and frankly, that it's relevant because
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
like if you can go to your phone and look up where I'm talking about,
Yeah.
then great. But like then I don't really need to include a map. You could do it if you feel
Yeah.
like it.
Just add a
Mhm.
Google link.
Yeah.